Alachua County School Board members are putting off proposed school zone changes.
Several parents commented tonight during what was supposed to be the first reading of the new maps. TV 20's Lali Salachi joins us live from the school district office in Gainesville. And Lali, what decision, if any, was made tonight?
Yeah, Paige, school board members voted unanimously to delay the final vote for school rezoning until January 15th. School board member Diane McGraw and Lynette McNeely say rezoning needs to be postponed because they are not ready to move forward with it. Chair of the board, Tina Certain, says the board spoke in a workshop just yesterday about the latest rezoning impacts.
I think we should consider diversifying our schools based on socioeconomic status, not using race, but having some diversity based using socioeconomic status. That's not a plan that's been proposed by the superintendent.
Certain said the financial impact has not been shared properly with residents. School board member Sarah Rockwell says she's disappointed about the new data. She says although the new maps still show overcrowding in schools, she also wants to continue working on the rezoning. Residents also expressed their concerns directly to the board, saying the plan feels rushed.
I'm concerned about the lack of communication about enrollment projections, and to find out that there was a projection shared with the board that wasn't shared with the public is disconcerting. What is the first-year population for our schools going to be? The 3-year, the 5-year, the 7-year, the 10-year, what is that going to be? And how are we making these decisions?
They urged school board members to revisit the updated changes for a long-term decision. School district officials say a final vote for the ordinance must be made by January 15th, but could also be made before then. Live in Gainesville's Lali Solache, TV 20 News.